book I'm going to be reading is by Jeanne, Guyon, Experiencing the Depth of Jesus Christ, one of the greatest Christian writings of all time. Written in the latter part of the 17th century, this little book, conceived in great simplicity, was not written to be published. I wrote it for a few individuals who desire to love God with all their hearts. But because of the profit they received from reading the manuscript, many asked to obtain their own personal copy. It was because of these requests that this little book was committed to the press. I have left the book in its original simplicity. It contains no criticism of the teachings of others who have written concerning spiritual things. On the contrary, it enforces those teachings. I now submit the entire book to the judgment of learned and experienced men with but this request: please do not stop at the surface, but enter into my main purpose in writing. The purpose is to induce the whole world to love God and to serve Him in a way that is easier and simpler than any could imagine. I have intentionally written this book to those dear simple followers of Jesus Christ who are not qualified for intensive research, but who nothing less desire to be wholly given to God. The reader who comes to this book without prejudice will find hidden beneath the simplest expressions a secret unction. This unction will excite him to seek after that inward happiness which all the Lord's disciples should wish to lay hold of and enjoy. I have stated that perfection can easily be attained, and this is true. Jesus Christ is perfection, and we seek Him within ourselves. He is easily found. But perhaps you will reply, did the Lord not say, "You shall seek me and shall not find me"? John 7:34. But your Lord, who can not contradict Himself, also said to all, "Seek, and you shall find." Matthew 7:7. Yes, it is true. If you seek the Lord and yet are unwilling to stop your sinning, you shall not find Him. Why? Because you are seeking Him in a place where He is not. Therefore it is said, you shall die in your sins. But if you will take the trouble to seek God in your own heart, and sincerely forsake your sins so that you may draw nearer to Him, you shall infallibly find Him. I realize that the prospect of living a life of piety is frightening to most Christians, and prayer is viewed as a very difficult attainment. Consequently, most believers are too discouraged at the very outset, even to take the first step in this direction. It is true that if you consider the difficulty of some new undertaking, it can cause you to despair and make you reluctant to begin. On the other hand, the desirability of such an adventure and the idea that it may be easily accomplished can cause you to launch out with vigor. This book, therefore, lights the way to the desirability, the pleasure, the advantages, the ease of these two matters, prayer and piety. Oh, if only once we could be convinced of God's goodness towards His children and of His desire to reveal Himself to them. We would no longer seek our own selfish desires. We would not be so quickly discouraged in pushing what He is so longing to give us. He who spared not His own Son, but delivered Him for us all, how shall He not with Him also freely give us all things? Romans 8:32. We only need a little courage and perseverance. Actually, we have enough of both in our earthly affairs, but none at all in the only thing that really matters. Luke 10:42. Some of you may doubt that God can actually be found so easily. If so, do not merely take my word for it. Instead, try for yourselves what I am proposing to you, for I am sure that your own experience will convince you that the reality is far greater than what I have told you. Beloved reader, read this little book with sincere and honest spirit. Read it in a lowliness of mind without the inclination to criticize. If you do, you will not fail to reap profit from it. I have written this book with a desire that you might wholly give yourself to God. Please receive this book with the same desire in your own heart. This book has no other purpose than this, to invite the simple and the childlike to approach their Father, a Father who delights in seeing the humble confidence of His children and is grieved by their distrust. Therefore, with a sincere desire for your own salvation, seek nothing from the book except the love of God. With such an expectation, you shall assuredly obtain that love. I am not saying that this way is better than that of someone else. I am only honestly declaring from my own experience and that of others the joy found in following the Lord in this way. There are many other subjects we could touch upon, things of great spiritual significance, but because they do not immediately relate to our main subject, experiencing Jesus Christ, they have been omitted. Without a doubt, nothing will be found here that will offend if only the little book is read in the same spirit in which it was written. Even more certainly, those who earnestly make trial of the way will find that I have written the truth. O holy Jesus, it is you alone who love the simple and innocent. It is your delight to dwell with the children of men, Proverbs 8:3. With those who are willing to become little children, Matthew 18:3. You are the only one who can cause this little book to be of any value. Beloved Lord, write it on the hearts of those who read it and lead them to seek you within themselves. It is there that you can rest, as in a manger, waiting to receive proofs of their love and to give them the testimonies of yours in return. Oh, it is true that the fault is theirs for not experiencing all that you are so willing to give. And yet, O child almighty, uncreated love, silent and all-containing word, it is really up to you to make yourself loved, enjoyed, and understood. You can do it. And I know that you will do it in this little book, for it belongs entirely to you. It came wholly out of you, and it points only to you. Jeanne, Guyon, Grenoble, France, about 1685.